Hey girl, hey, and welcome to the Isle Files, where we're reading your crazy wedding stories, answering all of your wedding questions, and giving you our completely unfiltered takes. I'm Kelsey, a multiple six-figure wedding and elopement photographer and planner, which basically means, you guys, I have seen some things. And I'm here with my girl, my co-host Kim, equal parts therapist, investigator, and the girl who will hype you up while also calling you out when needed. So if you've been to a wedding, you're planning a wedding, you're in a wedding, or questioning a wedding, you're in the right place. If you have stories or want us to unpack on the pod, send us your drama, your debriefs, your is this normal questions to the islefilespod@gmail.com. All right, Al crew, let's walk down that aisle.
Good morning, Kelsey. How are you?
Good morning, Kim. Good. How are you? Like after Mother's Day.
I know.
Aren't we fancy?
Little post Mother's Day. I went and got a massage for Mother's Day, and
yes, you
it was
did.
Great, lovely. I fell asleep though in it.
That's how you know you need it, and you need to schedule one for like next week, so you can actually have your massage fully conscious.
Yeah, and it's like obviously like I needed the sleep. Like that's great. Like I'm glad I got the rest, but it's like I missed it.
Yes. Yeah. No, don't you feel like you kind of like the FOMO is so real right now? Like it's just so high.
Right. Like I'm just like I know I got it still. I know it happened, but I'm just like, cool.
Yeah, cool. I don't feel like I actually got to experience that because you didn't.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, that's too bad. We got plants, so ours was kind of like, well, I'm not a mom, I'm a schnauzer mom. So Jake was like, why don't we just do like a little schnauzer Mother's Day? And I was like, okay. Twist my arm. So we went to a flower nursery and I got my plants and a new like container for the outside planter garden, and yeah, work those back muscles that you don't know exist until you are
the next
working
day.
in a garden. Yeah.
Now, do you plant any veggies or fruit or anything?
Yeah, so we did lettuce and tomato and a couple types of peppers this time.
Ooh, like bell peppers?
Yeah. More like, oh my gosh, what are they called? One of them was like the Big Jim pepper, and you're like, what is it? I don't know. It's apparently really great for salsa, and that's what we're doing. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Peppers are so easy to grow too. So.
Oh, thank God. I feel like I'm just like killing things right and left, so great. I need help.
Yeah, in Oregon, I had a friend that had a blueberry plant like in her backyard.
Yeah.
And you could just go out there and just eat blueberries. That was amazing.
I would love. Well, and is it blueberries, blackberries, raspberries that just go nutso, right? Like they're just like weeds. Yeah. They just go crazy.
Yeah, in Montana, yes, that would be true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be a big fan of that. Yeah, you just
for your birthday, maybe that's what you should do. Just plant.
Oh, maybe I should.
Yeah. Get some berries.
Do a little early birthday, like a 6-month early birthday, and just do it right now.
Half birthday. Celebrate your half birthday.
Yeah, half birthday. I have 2 half birthdays always. Quarter birthdays. So.
See, there you go. Who cares? It's your life.
Who cares? Fuck it. Yeah, it works out.
I wanted to ask you, because you're a wedding photographer, you do wedding planning, that kind of business, but then you also do elopements. How did you get started? Did like 13-year-old Kelsey wake up one day and was like, I'm going to be a wedding photographer? Walk me through this journey.
Oh my gosh. No, so I guess like with photography, it started when I inherited. So Grandpa gave me his Canon film camera, and I was 15 or 16. And so it was just me and a film camera and a notebook, and I'm writing down my settings of what the setting was, because it's all a manual, right? Because it's film. I'm old, but I'm not that old, but I'm old enough where it's like film was still very much a thing. So I would write down all the settings and the environment, like whether it was sunny, whether it was cloudy, whatever it was. And that's how and then I got the film developed and I got it back. And then I would make notes as like what I should have changed. So that's the photography part. Just me I don't know why I didn't think to like look online for like how to shoot film, like that. But no, it's all like completely self-taught. So 15, 16, it's just a hobby, 100%. Like I'm just chasing my family around, doing landscapes in the mountains. Didn't even think that it would be a job at all, like at all. I went to college for psych and soc, psychology, sociology. I wanted to be a FBI behavioral analysis like analyst.
I love
So
that.
I wanted to track down all the criminals and like track all their psychological movements, all the shit. But I went to the University of Montana, and if you're in the FBI in that, like, you probably need like a Harvard, right? You probably need a Stanford or Yale. And that is what my what was she, the like advisor, the college advisor? College advisor was like, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. So like pick something else. Which looking back at that, I'm like, girl, what the actual hell? Because you could work in the FBI in lots of facets, right?
Sure.
So, she did on that. But whatever. So I'm still on the psych and soc path, and I had my camera. I'm taking photos of all my friends. I was an RA, a resident assistant, so I'm taking the staff photos for the team. I'm like doing all this shit. Got outfitted with a digital camera and a lens and all this stuff. A friend of mine asked me to shoot her wedding, and I'm just like, I don't know anything about that, but yes, right? Like always lead with yes. So the summer before her wedding, I second shot the entire summer for like 3 or 4 different wedding photographers and just assisted and just, did all that. And then I knew what to do and I shot her wedding. Still didn't think it was going to be a job. Still loved it. So much fun. Got other gigs, other weddings, like other portrait, like senior portraits, like all this other stuff, all this human, human photography. And then I graduated, or as close to graduating with my psych and social degrees. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with these degrees? Like, I graduated in 3 years, so thankfully I wasn't there a long time. But like, I don't know what to do. So I went to art school for photography, commercial photography, which is like fashion, product photography, like all that sort of stuff. I
Hmm.
learned everything there was to know about lighting, like studio lights, all this stuff. And even then, like I worked at a senior portrait studio, so I worked for someone else. And then I worked at an online retail company with like editing and photography and stuff. So even then, I was like, I'm never gonna make this like my own job, like my own
Right.
company. And then I met the love of my life, moved to Montana, and there's no portrait studios, there's no commercial studios, there's nothing to do here. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to be opening my own business in weddings and elopements. So like that's how it happened.
Okay, so then when you first started, so you moved to Montana and you're like, okay, I'm gonna open up my own business doing like weddings and elopements. Did you start like when you started, were you like, I'm doing weddings and elopements, or did you start doing weddings and then
Mm.
all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait a minute, what's this over here?
No, you're so right. It was weddings first. Yeah, traditional, large weddings here in Montana. Montana only, large weddings. And then I brought my husband on board. I taught him everything he knows about videography and photography. Like I'm the boss here, not
Girl
him.
boss.
Contrary to all the like uncles and grandparents who would go up to Jake and be like, "Oh, tell me about your business," and "Oh, tell me about your cameras." He doesn't know. Jake doesn't know shit, right? Because like I am teaching him everything, but I'm not the one getting right. So
That's
very
so
interesting
great.
little patriarchal shit happening there. But anyway, so I taught him everything, all that jazz. He's coming along with me. And he's just like, I don't know, like we got to the point where I felt so cookie cutter. I'm just like, these weddings are exactly the same. And like this is what Jake and I are spending our summers doing, right? Husband and I are spending our summers doing like over and over again. I'm like, you know what? I would love to get paid to travel and to do like smaller events. We got hired to do an elopement back in, I don't know, 2017, 2018. And I was like, that's it. That's what I want to do right there. And ever since, like, I've just been like marketing it and now we travel all over the world. Jake has decided to Irish goodbye. Well, not Irish goodbye, right? Because that's an asshole thing to do. He wants to like, have a life and be a teacher during the year and have his own. So now it's me and my girl gang, right? Like me and my girls traveling the world in Montana with elopements.
So that
Yeah.
first elopement, you said like 2017, 2018, was it in Montana or where was it?
It was in Glacier National Park. Yeah, Glacier National Park. It was just the two of them. I still remember their names, Jure and Joe. They came from Houston, Texas. They like a moose hit the side of their car. And, like they're fine. But like this dinner plate sized dent on the side of their car, right? And like they're just adventuring. They have zero stress. We are just cruising around, like showing them the best of Glacier National Park, and they're just so happy and just, I mean, they were the sweetest people ever to start, but just the day itself was absolutely magical, because there's just no stress and everything they wanted to do, and just the two of them.
So, because in Montana you have Glacier National Park.
Totally, yeah. So Yellowstone and Glacier National Park, those are the two national parks that we have here. And
Okay.
then, you just look around and it's like
It's beautiful, right?
mountains for
Yeah.
days. Right, yeah, right. So like the sky's the limit. Yeah.
Then is Montana, would you say, a pretty popular spot for people to elope?
Yeah. Yeah, the national parks for sure. I mean, that's just like people see it online and they're like, I want that. And you're like, okay. I mean, it was definitely an easier switch for me to go into elopements versus like, I don't know, Illinois or somewhere, right? Where it's like it's just kind of like nothing to see, nothing to do. So I got really lucky in that sense for like the entire state. There's somewhere to go and something to
Hmm.
do. Yeah, and it's
Hmm.
just beautiful.
And
Yeah.
now, is it difficult to elope like in a national park? Like I'm sure there's some kind of
Mm,
like rules. It's a government, right? So
yes.
how difficult is it?
I mean, I'm speaking at it from like, millions of couples, right? I got married in Glacier National Park. I've helped like millions of couples do it. So it feels really easy to me, but like from people just walking in like, what do I do? There is like literal paperwork, right? Like you got to apply for your permit. There's only certain amount of space, like designated places where you can get married with designated participant maximums. So if you're like, hey, I want to roll in there with, 60 people, that's not going to happen, right? There's only like very small, like two spots in Glacier, for instance, that would allow you to have 60 people. If you're like 15 people or less, then you have a lot more leeway, but you still have to pick the designated spots. And then you have to apply for your permit. You have to get the timeline, right? Because it's a 2 hour, you're not just like, this is your place for the whole day. No, 2 hours. So then you have to work your timeline of like, when are we getting ready? Are we doing a first look? When are we doing a ceremony? The light in certain places of the park is better optimized, either at sunset or sunrise. So, like having an expert who knows those things and to like navigate that, like that's why I do it for couples because like I know they're like, oh, planning a wedding is so difficult and like stressful, right? And then they're like, let's pivot to an elopement. Yes. And then they start doing the planning and they're like, holy shit balls, like there actually is more to this than I thought.
What's something that a couple should know if they want to, like, if you had to say, like, these are the top three things you need to know if you want to elope, if you want to get married in Glacier National Park?
Ooh, top three things. Like logistically, okay. Permit, you need to have one. Right? Most national parks have like very few entry points into it. So being able to know like where your ceremony is going to be in relation to where you are staying, like Glacier, for instance, it's massive, right? I mean, like it could be like 2 hours from your ceremony spot to where you are getting ready. And so I would suggest you know your ceremony location before you book your accommodations. So that's number two. Number three, I think it's just the participant maximums for each ceremony spot. So again, like don't go inviting people until you know which ceremony spot you want and how many guests they will allow at maximum. Yeah. Weather
Yeah, I
too.
think.
Weather's a big one,
Oh yeah,
especially
of course.
in our high alpine places, like a summer month in Texas is not a summer month in Montana.
Right. Well, you had that beautiful wedding that was like in July in Glacier, and it rained, and it was like a cold rainy day, and I was like, and
Yeah.
I with all those photos, I mean they're beautiful, the photos are beautiful because like the sky is kind of overcast, and like but then you have like wildflowers, so it's like this beautiful contrast, but they did not plan for it to be
No.
cold and rainy.
Right. Which, well, I mean, the funny thing about that is like I mean, at least from me, I'm like, bring your raincoats, bring your layers, bring your stuff. I mean, even in mid-July, I am 100% preparing them for that.
Yeah.
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 Because it's crazy. Yeah. Montana is just like a wild animal. Well, I mean, honestly, any national park that is in the mountains, Yosemite would be the same, Mount Rainier. I mean, all of our mountain spots are going to be like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, is there a bucket list spot that you're like, look, if you're a couple that wants to elope in any of these places, I will give you a sick discount because I want to go there so bad?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the list is like long and evolving, but off the top of my head, Alaska, your girl would love to go Alaska. The cool thing about Alaska is that there are helicopter companies that you can get on, and then it will drop you at these designated places. Like if you wanted to like land on top of a glacier, for instance, like you could do that. And Alaska is crazy. I would love to do Alaska. I'm very interested in Africa right now. Like I feel like the whole idea of having an elopement slash honeymoon on safari and like looking at elephants and giraffes and lions and like all this that would just be so cool. Like that is like in an alternate reality, like that's what I would have done when I had a wedding, right? It's like I just want to do that, like wrap it up, let's go. So Zimbabwe and Kenya are my top two. Switzerland, another fellow mountainous area, love. The Maldives, don't need to say any more about that. But those are just a few that I would love. Yeah, and you're gonna get a hot discount from me. Yeah.
Now, you kind of mentioned this already, but I think a lot of people have this idea in their head that like if you're eloping, it's like you and your partner, you go to the courthouse and you do the thing. But like that's not what an elopement has to be. You can invite your parents or your best friends. So can you kind of like talk about how like kind of like break the idea that society has of like what an elopement has to be?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think for a long time, like society is like eloping is it's kind of a shameful thing. You're like running away, the whole running away to the courthouse, getting married, nobody knows about it. You sign a piece of paper and you're done, right? That's like the old definition. The new definition is as far as like just the two of you, like just because your day is smaller, like the guest list is smaller, doesn't mean it's shorter, and it doesn't mean that your love and your marriage, the start to your marriage doesn't deserve the equal amount of like hype and excitement and time invested in that. It can look different, but yeah, I mean, I love it. I've actually had some really sweet little elopements and micro weddings that like they invite like six people, right? And they have their, well, I had actually this is another Glacier National Park one. Oh no, wait, actually no. So these two, they went to Crete, Greece, and they had her mom and stepdad. And that was their guest count. That's who they brought. And they were with us, like they hiked to the ceremony spot with us. And we did these cute little like photos, and they're just like, they're clearly like such a sweet little family, like all four of them even together. I mean, they loved the group. They loved him. And I just remember how much fun they had the whole day of just like hanging out with her parents, her people, and it's becoming his people. And they got to be there that whole time. And then they had a traditional Grecian dinner at the end of the night, which was so beautiful. I mean, it was like lamb on a spit, which, I'm like, oh God, that was a baby lamb that we saw 4 hours ago out there, right in that pasture right out there. So, for me, I'm just like, well, pluses and minuses of that. But like, it was beautiful cultural experience of traditional Grecian thing. And they had speeches, right? They gave little toasts, both of them reading from their little iPads. They had oh my God. And then they had like first dances even, right? Like the couple had a first dance, and then groom and her mom had a first dance, and then she and stepdad had a first dance. It was just the sweetest thing I'd ever seen. And it's like, we're the only people at this Grecian hotel, right? This little in the middle of nowhere place. And it was just absolutely amazing. Yeah. Really
So basically,
cool.
just because someone's eloping doesn't mean that they have to like give up, air quotes, give up the fun, cute aspects of a wedding. They can still wear the white dress and they can still get all the fun pictures and do all those things.
Yeah. Well, and even like, I mean, the cool thing about this cultural thing is like you can incorporate, the country that you're going to's wedding, traditions and things like that. I mean, these two even had like a ring warming ceremony, which
Okay,
I
I'm
don't know if
not
you've ever
familiar.
heard about that.
What is a ring
Okay.
warming ceremony?
It's really cute. The officiant will just be like, the couple wants you to like warm their rings and bless them for
Oh,
their, oh, it's so cute. And so I mean, I remember I have this photo of mom and stepdad from this Grecian elopement, and mom is just losing it. I mean, she is emotional, stepdad's emotional, and they're holding those rings in their hands. I'm like, that just the
oh,
like
my heart.
tradition. Oh my God. I mean, just the tradition, even that, right? Even that like super small thing, and it's just so meaningful. Oh,
I love
I
that.
mean, I
I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna find the article, the blog that we have about that, and post it in the show notes so that anyone can see this like
oh my God,
Greek
do it.
wedding that you did. That was
Oh my, I mean, like, I don't know. You will see that photo I'm talking about, and it's gonna warm your little heart because it is. Oh my gosh, it gets me every time. I have a very like soft spot for dads, like dads and their daughters
yes.
and like that. It's just like, oh, it's just the cutest thing.
Okay, so I know that you've been to Greece to do elopements. I know you've been to Spain. You just went to Iceland and Ireland last year, right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
What countries am I forgetting? What countries have you done elopements in?
Oh God, France on top of the ones that I'm trying to do the ones that like you didn't say, and I forgot about them already. Italy, Amsterdam, that was cool. Yeah, Iceland, Ireland, Greece, Spain, Mexico. Got it. I mean, got to do
Yeah,
Mexico. Come on.
got to do Mexico.
Yeah. I feel like there must be more I'm forgetting.
Have you done it? Have you
Uh,
done a Canadian one yet?
no, not yet. And the reason is because the visa stuff is really hard. Like
No.
it's really tough for an American to work over there in Canada for this sort of thing. Because that's the other thing that you got to apply for, all the visas and stuff.
Interesting. Okay, so then
Yeah.
is it complicated to get married? If I want to go get married in another country, is it complicated?
Ooh, I mean, it definitely depends on what country you're talking. Yeah, definitely depends. So like Greece, for instance, that's a tough one. I would 100% recommend getting legally married, courthouse style, and just sign the paperwork, get that done in your state, and then have, your symbolic ceremony over there in Greece. Ireland's a lot easier. So if you want to do Ireland, that's super doable. Iceland is another tough one. It's doable but tough. Spain, it just takes a lot of time. So, just be prepared when you're doing that. But I mean, that's something that like I just educate my people on, and like I just send them a checklist of like, cool story if you want to do it. This is what you need. And then, with caveat of like you could do it next weekend at the courthouse if you want, right? Wherever you want. Yeah.
So then how do you help couples plan and coordinate their elopement if they want to get married internationally?
Oh my God, it's so fun. I mean, well, most of this framework is the same whether you're in the States or in another country. A few things will differ. Like I will definitely, well, okay, let me start. So step one, location matchmaking. I think that's the thing that people get the most angsty about and the most overwhelmed about. So that's step number one. I send them a questionnaire of like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to see? Like, do we want mountains, cliffs, desert? Dream it up a little bit. And then I send them a list of all the cool shit that they could see and do. They tell me what they like the best. And then we apply for permits. By we, I mean me. I will apply for all the permits, pay for all the permits, and that, for ceremony sites and things like that. And then I send them a list of vendors. So all like officiants, florists, hair and makeup artists, transportation, catering, baker, accommodation recommendations, like the like hotel stays and Airbnb stays, like that's always really fun for me because I just know of a lot of like cool spots and I want them to have the coolest spot for this thing. So I'm always like, here you go. And then for the international ones, I will do like set them up with a consulate, the instructions on how to get notified from the consulate about your country. So, it's called the STEP. You enroll in STEP and it will send you like, Greece is a tier 2 or so like very accurate and up to date things of like, is there a protest happening in Dublin? And like, are we seeing some violence because of that? Or like, are we getting, you know, blowback from the Ukrainian-Russian conflict, just for example, right?
Mhm.
I've never had anything be like, you're in a war zone, cancel. If that were the case, then like, I'm getting updates on that, and that's something that like I'm looking into a lot, like as we're leading up to it, like 2 to 3 months before the elopement, I'm like checking the news all the time for all the places and all the things, because it can even be like weather, right? I mean, like flooding flooding would definitely impact your ceremony. And so I'm tracking the weather, I'm doing all this stuff. So they're getting a lot. Well, I mean, whether you're in stateside or international, you're getting a lot of updates from me. It's like, hey, the plowing in Glacier National Park, like it's taken a long time because we had a lot of snow. So just so you know, and just some like guides based off of that. So like again, like bring your raincoat, or like, hey, we should, here's my plan B if the location is flooded or the hike is closed or that sort of thing. Yeah.
Because you've done something like over 400 weddings, right?
Yeah, I think we're probably over 500.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
like
we're
it's a
officially
lot. I mean,
saying
like,
we're over 500 now.
yeah, like not to date myself or anything, but yeah, like it's been a lot. Yeah.
So having done over 500 weddings, right? You kind of know who to and who not to work with.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think every photographer at this stage is like when they're on an inquiry call, there's certain red flags, right? Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Okay. What do you think is a what do you think is an underrated spot? Like, everyone, okay, Glacier National Park, right? You've done a bajillion weddings in Glacier National Park. But what's a spot that you think that people are overlooking to get married in?
In Glacier National Park?
Anywhere. Anywhere in this whole wild world.
Oh
What's the
shit,
underrated
anywhere?
spot?
Underrated spot? I mean, I'm gonna say Africa for sure. Yeah, I think there's so many, like, people think it's really scary. And like, yeah, it's like, let me back up. I think it's Africa. I think there's a lot of preconceptions about like it's difficult to travel to Africa. There's a lot of unknown things about Africa, which like, okay, like you do need to get your measles and typhoid, and there's several lists depending on your country that you need to get, and just things like that. Okay, okay. And depending on the geopolitical stuff that that is happening, like from the date of this podcast, like it could be different, okay? But I don't see hardly any safari elopements. And I'm like, that is a travesty. It is more expensive and it's tougher to get there, but like, oh, what an experience. I don't know. If you could like put 2 to 3 weeks out of your whole life and do that, I think that would be great. Yeah, that'd be amazing. I think the other ones are national forests. There are so many national forests. The San Juan National Forest in Colorado. I think that is one, like that's one where it's like it's absolutely stunning and it gets overlooked because you have the national park right there. And people are like, which is just it's more social media has tracked it more, So I don't know. Part of me doesn't really want to dive into the super like off the beaten path things because they're off the beaten path for a reason, and we love that about them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you bring up like a great point because we've talked about this before about how some people treat their wedding day as like an all-day photo shoot, and it's like your wedding is meant to be enjoyed, right?
Yeah.
And so I think by doing an elopement, you can kind of tie in that like honeymoon and your wedding into one, and then guess what? You have a photographer like yourself to capture all those fun pictures. Like, have you done any weddings where then you had like a multi-day experience where it was lots of stuff that you could photograph?
Oh yeah. I mean, so Greece, it was a 2 day. We hit a hike in the gorge the next day. I did one with Lexi and Nate. They eloped just the two of them in Spain. And so Costa Brava was wedding day. It's, like 2.5 hours northeast of Barcelona. So wedding day was that. And we got them married. They had their own like sweet little first look and personal vows at sunset. And we explored and just, oh, they had a great time. I mean, that one was so fun. Day two, we went to a separate little town close by in their normal, street clothes. And they are foodies to the max. And so we were like looking for the best food on the food trucks and like cruising around and checking things out. It was so fun. And then, being able to compile that, I think like it's one thing to get photos and then you download them, you put them on social media, and then you never see them again. That's what happened to me. And so I hate that. So I always want to make sure that I put them in an album, like a physical, you're flipping through it every year sort of album. Uh, and so the 2-day ones like that are so much fun, because it really is full circle. You get this amazing experience in a place you've never been. And those two actually did take the 2 weeks vacation honeymoon.
That.
Like their wedding was in the middle somewhere. It was amazing. Yeah, they saw a couple other countries. It was so fun.
That's so cool. So,
Yeah.
what do you think? What's the biggest mistake that couples make when planning a destination wedding or an elopement?
I think one of the biggest ones is that they choose a location or like based off of social media. So they're like, oh, that picture looks awesome. And I want a picture right next to that in that same place where they've seen every other picture being taken. And that, I mean, while I understand the sentiment because it's beautiful or whatever, I think we need to be thinking about what kind of experience we want to have and what kind of like vacation we want to have and how we want it to feel and base the experience off of that instead of like, oh, Sistine Chapel, like right there. It's like, it's not really about the location necessarily. I think the other thing is that people want to hit multiple, like so many locations in one vacation. And like I've been guilty of this, but you end up feeling kind of a chaos rising and like you need a vacation from your vacation. So I think a lot of people make the mistake of being like France and Italy and Greece and this and that and like, all the things. I would suggest picking a country or even just a couple regions, just a couple, and it just makes it so much better. Yeah, I think a third mistake is that they end up, I mean, this is just human nature. Like they end up caring so much about what other people think and about like pleasing other people. And so much angst can come from that, from people who have like started the wedding planning, traditional wedding planning, and segueing into elopements. And that's where a lot of my people come from. They're planning weddings and they're stressed out, and then they come to the dark side, which I love.
We've talked about this before about how like people just try to cram too much, right? They try to teach their wedding like an all-day photo session. And I think that's kind of something that, as you're talking too about like traveling, it's like they try to cram too many countries, cities, activities, whatever into one trip, and then they end up being more exhausted and not even enjoying it, right? And one thing that you offer like adventure sessions, which are like couple sessions that you can just do. Like you're going somewhere beautiful, why not just have a photography session there for the fun of it? Can you kind of talk about like some of those adventure sessions?
Oh, for sure. Adventure sessions are so fun because we don't discriminate against like any kind of people. And like, are you just dating? Have you been together for 15 years? Are you just like two friends who just want to like hang out? I mean, the cool thing about that is like, if you want to go to a town you've never been to and like bike, right? You hop on a bike, you want to cruise around and see the place. If you want to do a food tour and you want pictures of you like making these memories of making pasta in Italy, right? Like things like that. I've had a couple, they rented a Vespa in Italy and they're just driving around and it's just the cutest thing because they're like popping off over there, just like go over there and like go get some. I think we ended up getting, what was it? It was probably gelato or like tiramisu. It was either gelato or tiramisu. And they're just like eating their tiramisu, soaking it in, and then that sort of thing is going to be in that album, like in that vacation album, right? It's so fun. I've had people do it for hikes. So if they're like, I don't want to sweat my face off in a wedding dress, but I really like hiking is like my jam. That's where we feel the most connected. Like we go and hike and we get some beautiful pictures and they have that memory in their album. Yeah, it's really fun. Really
I
fun.
love
Like
that.
I'm going to Chicago next month. And that would be the thing where it's like, let's do a little date night in Chicago, right? Like you go to this cute little bar that has outdoor cocktails. You're sitting outside, you're watching the sunset, and then we want to go like walk in the park to see the lights. right? Like see that skyline. And then we might want to like go to the theater for a show.
Yeah, why
That
not?
would all, yeah, and like that would all be photographed. And he's like cute, adorable as hell, pictures for them to have later.
Yeah, no, I love
Yeah.
that.
Adventure sessions are
So,
so fun.
so then give me like a little like PSA for our couples that are getting married. They're thinking like, I think I want to elope. What should they be on the lookout for when trying to find an elopement photographer, planner? Like, what kind of things should they be looking for?
I mean, just for their own sanity, I want them to find a photographer who will also help them plan it. Because, again, there's so many logistics and so much of that is wrapped up in the photography. I would love for them to find someone who has done elopement photography and planning in several countries, in several places. I mean, especially if they're going abroad, like find someone who, I mean, like me, like, every country's a little different and that's fine. But like, I know who to talk to at the consulate to know like what the permit situation is. Like, it's not just about you just type it into Google and you find out, right? Like I'm making a lot of calls, no matter where, right? But like if it's Utah, if it's California, if it's Washington, Oregon, I mean, I'm calling these people, and I think all your photographers should be able to do that. Like they should be not only getting it captured, but also planned for you too. I think that's really important. And videography. I think they should also offer videography. The reason why I really, and we offer videography too, that's something that I really love because the style is the same. So if you love the candid, authentic, fun, joyful sort of thing that you're seeing in the photography, you should be, you'll be getting the same thing in the videography, which if you get it separately, you can't always guarantee, right? Because they're two different companies, two different styles.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I have to say that's like the one regret that I had about when I had gotten married versus like other people is like I wish we would have spent the money for a videographer.
Yeah.
I wish
Yeah.
we would have done
No.
it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and video is so powerful because it's the visual and the sound. Like you get your spouse in their words telling you all these beautiful things, and you're not going to remember any of that on wedding day. I guarantee you. Like, yeah, it's like straight out blackout. Like you're just like the hangover, right? You may now kiss, well, you walk down the aisle, and like you don't remember any of that. So yeah, videography is a big one. Yeah, and it is kind of sad how it's often left out of the budget as like a, if we had extra, when I think that really should be, four, top 5 or 4 vendors that you should be spending on. Biased, but
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I mean, yes, you're biased, but I totally agree because I've always said
Yeah.
that like a good photographer can take even the crappiest of places and make it look beautiful. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
lighting, with posing, like they can really, yeah.
Well,
Like,
and the opposite can be said.
yes.
Opposite can be said for that too. Or like if you have a new photographer or someone who isn't as experienced, then you can have all these beautiful things all you want. But if your photographer doesn't
Sucks. Then
yeah, if your photographer sucks, then like that's gonna be really terrible because you're gonna be looking in on that and like it's not gonna be great.
yeah,
Yeah,
I hate
yeah.
that. But you're not wrong. Like,
Yeah, it's
you're
bad.
not wrong.
And I think that's the other, like, you get what you pay for. And that's the mistakes. That's one of the mistakes the couples make, is being like, "Oh, I just don't have the budget." And like you're going to get what you pay for. Yeah.
Mhm.
So if there's any chance you have room, like maybe ditch the catering budget, right? Like decrease the catering budget or decrease the flower budget, or, save up for next year. I think you're going to be a lot happier for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree. Well, Kelsey, thanks for talking about elopements today. If you're a bride out there that is thinking about eloping and has questions, like write us in at the podcast, the aislefilepod@gmail.com, and we are happy to help you with whether you're trying to elope internationally or whatever it is. We have resources, we have free guides that you can have, like whatever you
Yeah.
need, we're here to help.
Yeah, we got you. And I think another little bride, groom, anyone in between, we are like, we just love love. And so LGBTQ plus allies, that is us. So yeah, reach out. Oh my God. I mean, there are so many beautiful places in the world, and the Wanderlust is just up to here. I would give massive discounts for couples who want to elope in Alaska, Zimbabwe, Kenya. I mean, any, like Africa, I am there for you. The Maldives, because it's stunning and like enough said. Switzerland. I would love to do Sweden. I mean, there's just so many beautiful places. New Zealand too. New Zealand specifically for this Christmas, your girl is going to be there already. So you get to skip the travel fees, which is super fun.